So Dalen says, I wanted your take or suggestion on portfolio websites. Do interviewers even see portfolio websites of software engineers since there are so many applicants? Should I work on a portfolio website or work on other projects and courses? That's a really good question. And as with a lot of answers, the answer is it depends. So it depends on the company. It depends on the interviewer, kind of what their philosophy is. It also depends on, what level of job you're applying for. So that's probably going to be more helpful, more beneficial for a junior dev when you're trying to get into. If you're a senior dev and they're asking for a portfolio, that would be a little odd, but it's not completely uncommon for junior devs. Um, so there's a couple of problems that I see with portfolios. And that one of them is most people build a portfolio when they're going through a boot camp, right? So they're going through some sort of training. They're going through whether that's a tutorial series or whether that's a boot camp or something like that. Um, and the problem is a lot of people just build their portfolios based off of the projects that they have to do um, for those courses. And what you end up getting is a lot of the same type of stuff. And it's really hard. Like, if you get a really good portfolio, you always have to question, did that person actually do the work? Um, because a portfolio for us is either just a website that's up or an application that's up, or it's like a GitHub or something like that. And honestly, I mean, you can copy paste stuff from anywhere, stick it into a repository and push it up under your name and claim that it's yours. And that's not necessarily um, something that we can validate very well, right? So for me, I'm not a huge fan of determining somebody's ability based on a portfolio. One thing a portfolio does for you is it shows effort that has been put in. Again, though, how much of that effort was actually yours is something that I think could always be in question. Um, and so that's why I'm not a huge fan of it. I am more of a fan of giving an applicant a project, like even just a small like test, not necessarily like a leak code test or something like that, but like a project. Say, give me um, crud for cars, models, years, makes, things like that. Give me some crud. Give me an application that allows me to list and add and you know update and delete, right? So create, read, update, delete. So I want a very small application that lets me do all that. And then I want you to submit that uh, with your as a GitHub or as a PR, either to my GitHub or send me a new link. Because then it has to be something that's done by them within a certain time frame. So while you can still copy that, I think you can give certain parameters, certain instructions that will help somebody um, be able to tell if you just copied stuff. Like you can give specific requirements that will help this person actually did the work, or this person either didn't listen to the rules, or they just copied some stuff and they don't necessarily know what they're doing. Um, but yeah, Mel, that's a very good point, and that's really for me what it comes down to is they're just talking points. So a portfolio should be something that just opens the conversation for you to then explain what you have done with that work. Portfolios really are just the door for you to talk about what you can do. Um, and if you are talking about your portfolio, I should be able to open up your GitHub, and when you talk about working with this type of technology, or when you talk about working dealing with this problem or that problem, or you talk about what you did for managing users in this instance, I can actually go into your code and see what you're talking about, and I can see sometimes some of the struggles that you went through and the solutions that you came up with. So really, they are just talking points, in my opinion. If somebody is judging your ability to do a job based off of your portfolio, either they're looking for something very specific in from a knowledge standpoint, such as a particular language or a particular um, framework in that language, or they're just very particular in the style that they're looking for, especially for like a front end dev, something like that. But most of the companies that I have worked for, very little of the time was spent looking at portfolios. They really don't even look at them until they've decided that you're somebody to uh, that they're interested in interviewing. So I would say it's most likely not going to get you an interview, but it will help you in the interview process at most companies. And to the degree that that affects the decision is going to vary based on the company, very based on what they do, how they view the importance of the portfolio. But yeah, so I would say most of the time, don't spend your whole time trying to figure out how to create a great portfolio. Your portfolio is just the things that you've done. Um, Highlight the best ones. Maybe create two different GitHubs. One GitHub is the one for stuff that you want to show, and the other one's just for your testing and learning. But I would spend more time learning more things or learning things better than I would worrying about trying to create this perfect portfolio to try to, excuse me, to try to get somebody's attention. So hopefully that helps, Dalen, and gives you at least some direction there as far as how much time to spend on those portfolios. I know with some of the things that I've done as far as teaching, um, there will often be like a demonstration day where they'll have companies come and see the work that you've done. I don't know how many companies have actually pursued someone based off of that. I I don't have those numbers, so it would just be a shot in the dark guess, but I would imagine most people hire based off of how you communicate about what you're doing, not based off of your portfolio.